G'day, Binanceans, and welcome back to this week's Binance Beach. We're the show that covers your Aussie crypto news weekly. We get the best people from the local industry, traders, event organizers, and the best of the best on the show to talk what's going on in Australia crypto scene. Dave Haslop of the Australian Crypto Convention, mate, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you on.
Thanks, mate. Always an absolute pleasure to be speaking to you.
Now, we normally love chatting markets, but we've got a pretty big announcement today. Do you want to make it or shall I?
You can have the honors, my friend. Go
Brilliant.
for it.
So we are really stoked to announce that Binance Australia is going to be a title partner again for the Australian Crypto Convention in 2025, which is enormous. And what is really exciting about this, obviously, this is the fourth year that the event's been running. It's back in Sydney this year. And I'll let you talk about the event and what's coming up this year, Dave. But I know for us from a Binance side, it's huge to be able to support again. And this is the best event on the domestic crypto calendar, right? And it is the largest crypto event in the Southern Hemisphere. And this has been the highlight of my year at Binance and in crypto for the last 3 years running. So to be able to put pen to paper and get that deal over the line with you guys again, and to be able to come back to the event with our best presence and show up for our users, meet as many people as we did last year, have as many fun games and activations. We're going to be looking to try and bring some amazing talent and speakers and Binance personalities in from our international teams as well. It just is so freaking exciting to be able to work on that again this year and deliver that for our users and bring all of the swag that I can bring too. So yeah, we're frothing it. We're absolutely stoked to be back on board.
Yeah, mate. So are we. I mean, we definitely couldn't do events like this without support from companies like Binance and the team. And obviously over the last 4 years, we've built a really good relationship and some great friendships as well. So, not only does that help in making it easier to work together, but I think that there's an element of trust there between AusCryptoCon and Binance and the teams, both teams that are involved. So, that makes it very, very easy to work with each other. And obviously for us, it's invaluable to have the support of Binance. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, you guys are veterans, yeah? So 4th year running, you know the drill, you know the show. I'm sure you guys will provide some pretty cool activations. And obviously we can't share any really fun alpha right now because we're sort of right in the midst of starting all of our announcements now, but there's definitely some alpha that we will be sharing pretty soon and some pretty exciting speakers and activations and on-site people that will be attending the event that I can't discuss at this point, but it's still very, very exciting.
Yeah, it really is the most incredible event, and the energy in that room and the energy at the events around the event too, like the after parties last year were really awesome. And to be coming back to that with the big presence that we're going to be able to bring as a title partner is just phenomenally exciting, right? And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think, if you're a user and you haven't been to the event, you might be sitting there going like, oh yeah, like the guys are announcing, hey, they're working together. This is your BD partnership kind of announcement. But it really is so important for the local industry that we run events like this. And it really is important for the big brands in the local space to step up and support that. And the opportunity that this gives us to connect with our users at scale and give them a really special in-person brand experience with Binance is just something that we don't get very often. And there are big flagship events all around the world. And AusCryptoCon has built itself up to be one of those flagship global crypto events. And the chance to partner on this and do that for our users and provide that experience and education for our users is super exciting. So this is more than just like that classic little BD partnership. I think anybody who's been to the event and experienced what it's like to be in that room and see the people that are there and the energy in the community, like they know that this is more than like, we're sponsoring again. It's really a commitment to the local crypto community and the local Binance community, and showing up for those guys in such a big way.
100%, man. And we hear the feedback a lot from all of our partners as well, that having that opportunity to get in front of people and actually speak to their customers face to face and give their customers the chance to speak to them face to face and see that they're real people with real products. And it's, you know, the digital world is more tangible than what you might think it is. And that's kind of the point of the whole show, is to show people that everything is a tangible product here, and it's not just pie in the sky, and it's all real and it's happening. And you know, the adoption progress that we've seen in the last, I mean, what, 2 years even, has been phenomenal, even more than what I could have hoped for, I suppose, or I could have seen coming, in terms of that global adoption scale from institutions to government. Like it's actually gone wild. So for the everyday mum and dad to come in and actually see that the industry is not just digital and that it's real people like you and me, that's really important.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's easy to forget that not everybody's been to the event. And so we should probably give you a chance to talk about what the event actually is and what it looks like. I mean, last year you had, what was it, nearly 10,000 people go through Sydney event, Melbourne the year before, or was it 7 or 8,000? So it's really well attended by the local community. But then, you know, we know that millions of Australians hold crypto. So there's a massive addressable market there of people who haven't attended the event. What is the Australian CryptoCon, and why should people turn up this year?
Well, how long have you got? How long's the list? So, I mean, it depends on what you want to attend for. So if you're there to learn, then you've actually got real industry experts that we've curated and put on the stage to actually educate people. Various different topics is like DeFi, trading, investment, blockchain technology itself, DePIN, all the different sort of subcategories within the crypto space. There's experts there to discuss all of it. There's even government regulators that are going to be there as well. So for those of you that are still a little bit unsure about crypto, and you know, you want to actually see some Australian government personalities on stage or in person to actually see that, you know, there is a regulated asset class in this country, then I think that's going to be an important show to watch as well. And then you've got your crypto bros, of course, that come to attend every year, and they have fun and they meet up with their mates. And the industry that you know, in Australia is quite tight knit, and everyone comes together and we all have a good time together and we catch up and enjoy the activations, enjoy what each other's companies are doing, and so on as well. So outside of that, you've got networking events, as you mentioned before. So I think last year we had, I think it was about 10 or 15 side events that was organized by you know, various sponsors and exhibitors from within the event as well. And I only expect that to grow this year too. In terms of what we are building, our goal this year is to scale the it's a word I'm looking for, sophistication of the show. So rather than focusing on let's just bring in more and more people, let's try and bring in more sophisticated speakers, international speakers. Let's refine the show and ensure that the quality is there, and then the quantity will follow. So that's our goal. We've got some pretty big announcements to come out soon in terms of who's coming down to the show, who's going to be presenting or playing and things like that. So obviously I can't share it just yet, but you know, it's pretty exciting for us. And I'm one of those people where when I've got some exciting news, I find it really, really hard not to share it straight away. So it's very hard for me to hold it in. But you know, it's there for everyone, man. Whether you've seen the diversity at the shows. We have children attending from, you know, the age of like 10, where mum and dad have actually bought them some crypto and put it away, and they want to learn a little bit about it, right up to, you know, retirees and people that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s that have attended the event as well. So the diversity there is massive.
It 100% is. And it's one of the best parts of the event. I think when people often think about crypto, they think about the crypto bros. But this event is well attended by such a cross section of the Australian public. It really is. And that's what makes the event so special too. And how welcoming the environment is, and how ready everybody is to chat and to share knowledge, you can walk up to almost anybody in that room and have a really interesting, informed discussion at every level of not only kind of crypto knowledge, but economics and, technology. And you just meet the most interesting people.
Well, my brother attended last year as well. And he, despite my best efforts, never really showed a huge interest in crypto or wanting to learn too much about it. So you'd call him a very, very green sort of crypto newbie. And he walked around last year. He visited every booth. He asked all the questions he could. And since last year, we talk crypto every week. And he's really learning more and more about the space in general. So, if I can convert my brother, then anyone's can be converted into the crypto space. But, we look at this and go, this is the future of finance. And I think it's extremely important that the individual starts to learn about how digital finance will operate. But even businesses like accountants, bookkeepers, people that are in a service-based business that are going to have to support their own clients in a new digital era, they should be attending to learn more about the space so that they better understand it on behalf of their own clients. So even the B2B side of it is going to be really, really important that people start learning this stuff and getting in front of the right people that know and understand this inside and out, so that they're learning firsthand from people with real knowledge that they need to learn from.
Yeah, definitely. The Australian Crypto Convention is just an phenomenal showcase of the best of the local industry. It really is. And so as a user, when you get to walk in and walk around and see that in person, in the flesh, it really is a pretty special experience, because you can literally only do that 2 days a year.
Yeah, absolutely. And last year was a buzz. I mean, we were right on all-time highs. I think Bitcoin
wasn't
was
that amazing?
Like
we hit
$200 under 100K
we hit 100K
on day one or something.
on day one.
Like,
that
it was just wild. And now we're, not even a year later, and we're sitting at 120K Bitcoin. Like this, I can only speculate, but I'd love to see 150K Bitcoin by November.
I mean, you've got a record for all-time highs at the event, so I'm happy for that to continue. Let's keep seeing Bitcoin go for the moon. Man, that would be absolutely phenomenal. What should somebody who's brand new to crypto be expecting to see at the event? If you walked in and you are literally at ground zero, you haven't bought anything, you haven't used any crypto tools or protocols, what should a brand new user expect to see at the Australian Crypto Convention?
First of all, a lot of people. When you first walk in, I can imagine for a non-crypto native, it would be quite overwhelming to start with. There's close to 100 different companies that exhibit at the event across various different subcategories of the industry. So, and then we've got a big keynote theater and 4 theaterettes, and all of those theaters are running nonstop for 2 days with speakers. So, as a total beginner, head straight in and take a look at the agenda through the event app or on-site signage, and work out what it is you want to learn. So all of our agenda is categorized into different topics. So you can just click on a topic to figure out where and when those speaking engagements will take place on the floor. For example, if you wanted to learn about DeFi, then you click the DeFi topic on that agenda, and then you follow those speakers to the different theaters. And that's where you're going to do a lot of your learning. And then outside of watching people on stage and listening to what they have to share, it's then just walking around and interacting with the different booths and the different companies that are holding the booths. And I mean, you might have an interest in one thing, but you might spark a new interest in something different while you're there, just from talking to companies at the booth. So, for example, for me personally, I've always been a trader. I love trading the markets. I quite enjoy it, and I love numbers. I love the maths behind it. It calms me somehow. But recently, I'm taking more of an interest towards the mining side of it. So I want to learn more about mining. So, and I've been in the space for nearly 10 years. So, you might attend the event with an interest in one thing, and you might leave the event wanting to learn more about another thing. And that's the beauty of it, is that there's a lot of different things that you can learn while you're there.
Yeah. And the best advice that I would have for a brand new person attending the event would be to just start as many interesting conversations as you can with people around the event, not just at the booths, but, in the cafe area. Like, it's such an open community that it really is such an easy place to just start a conversation, and everybody has an interesting perspective or experience they can share. And if you go into the event humble and ready to learn, it's such a great opportunity for you to make connections. The other thing that we see at the event a lot is young people who are looking to get into the industry. They might be at uni or just having finished uni, and this is their opportunity to jump in and try and meet some people in the industry, ask what working in the industry is actually like and what kind of career opportunities exist locally. And if that's you, definitely come along and make as many connections as you can. And definitely consider attending some of the side events and networking events, because they're often, depending on which one you go to, a lot more industry aligned and are attended by a lot of the core industry participants locally, like myself, like yourself. And that's such a great opportunity to go up, start a conversation with people actually working on this, grinding this out, and to create
Definitely.
some openings for yourself. I know we're just about to have a new intern start with us in the next couple of weeks, who I met at the event last year. We've had a bunch of different team members who I've met for the first time at events, because Binance is such a big place. The networking from a professional perspective is really unmissable if you're trying to get into the industry.
Definitely. And there are so many companies in the Web3 space right now that are hiring. My LinkedIn feed is just filled with companies that are hiring. So there's a lot of jobs out there that are up for grabs for the right people. And I mean, it's a very fast growing industry. So there's only going to be more jobs as more time goes on. So definitely agree with that. That's a great idea to come down and actually meet and speak to some of these companies. And I mean, they're showcasing their brands. You're showcasing your brand. It's the perfect place to actually get a face to face. And like you said before, you get the opportunity once a year, and that's it.
100%. We'll close on this and then let's talk markets. What does it mean for you to have Binance on board again this year as title sponsor? Why is that special for you?
Oh, it's not that special. No, I'm just... Oh, mate, it's invaluable.
You're on that podcast. It's special, mate. It's special.
Mate, we couldn't do this without you guys, and it's extremely important to us that we build on these relationships and these friendships. And Binance has been one of those friends now that we've made in the industry that has been there from the start for us. They've supported us from the start. You guys are amazing to work with. A well-oiled machine, you could say. And like I said at the start of the call, you're an absolute veteran of doing the events now, and especially in here in Australia with us. So it's getting the word out there. It's growing this space together, and that's what it's all about for us, is to grow the space. It's good and well to run events for people that are already in the space, and we have a lot of fun doing it, and the people that attend also have a lot of fun. But the core mission here is to continue to onboard the next million people, right? So we couldn't do it without you guys, and we want to do everything we can to help support that as well. And your support help us support the industry, and that's important.
Yeah, what a fantastic way to think about the contribution that the event makes, and the way that we support that, because I know how much work goes into this. Like, we've worked in this for 3 years now, and I see that grind and the late nights that you're pulling in the lead up to the event. And the last couple of years we got to have a beer together afterwards, and cheers, another year. How good was that? So
Absolutely, yeah.
And
there'll be plenty of beer this year too, I can tell you that right now.
I'm really looking forward to that again this year. Let's chat markets, because man, are we on an absolute tear or what? Bitcoin's back at 118K. It's been a couple of weeks since we did a market update on the show. So Bitcoin's back at 118K. Recently made an all-time high on July 14th. That was 9 days ago, of $123,000 per coin. Wow. And I think more notably across the rest of the market, ETH up 16% on the last 7 days, XRP up 18% at $3.46. And that might have made an all-time high too. BNB made an all-time high overnight at $795 at the moment. That's up 15% in the last 7 days. Solana up 21%, sitting right on that $200 mark. Wow, Bitcoin dominance is finally starting to come down a little bit after we had, continued grind up for Bitcoin dominance from, that like 45, 40, even just below 40% way back in 2022. It's been on a really consistent grind up to about 65% was where we hit high just kind of in the last couple of weeks. And then we've dropped really quite aggressively down to 60%. And that's been driven by the performance of the altcoin side of the market. As you just heard, some really significant movers on that side. And I know that there's a lot of people sitting out there probably going, finally, my bags are moving. I know I had a discussion with a mate a few weeks ago, and I kind of said, man, the market's up, like Bitcoin's ripping. Are you frothing? And he went, no, like if you don't hold Bitcoin, your portfolio has gone nowhere. So I'm sure there's a bunch of people who are really happy to see the alts move. Why is this happening? Can we expect it to continue? What is your take on the crypto market right now?
Look, I don't want to burst anyone's bubble when it comes to the alt market, but I'm not sure we're ever going to see that 2017 run or, that insane alt season that everyone's screaming about. I mean, Bitcoin dominance is down 6%, and that's great. And ETH's absorbed a lot of that. And so are some of the, those top 10 market cap coins. But it's only going to be a matter of time before that dominance picks up again. And, most of these altcoins that have seen a little bit of a run lately are still ultimately down, 60, 70, 80% on their overall all-time highs and the overall pricing over the last 5-6 years, right? So it's great that those bags are pumping a little bit, but I mean, if anything, it could be an opportunity for some punters to maybe get out of some positions with a little bit less of a headache. But I still think Bitcoin's going to continue to rule the roost here, and I think this drop in dominance is going to be short-lived. And I mean, like I said before, I'd love to see 150k Bitcoin by November, and I'm quietly confident that'll happen. And for that to happen, it needs to absorb a lot of that capital.
Yeah, the macro tailwinds behind Bitcoin at the moment almost feel undeniable, right?
It's like a sci-fi film, man. Honestly,
it is,
like
100%.
It's just wild.
It is. And I had a really interesting thing the other day. A mate sent me a zoomed out chart of gold from 1971 to 2024. And when I first looked at it, I actually mistook it for the Bitcoin chart. Yeah, because, if you just have a first glance, it's running on a very similar, like exponential kind of trajectory. I'll do that on screen. And so, for anybody who is wondering if, 120 is the top, we had a bunch of people on Twitter call 120 the top. Well, I mean, we had a bunch of people call 100 the top. Then they said 110 is the top forever, never going higher. Then 120, the Bitcoin bears keep getting smashed. And, I think there's that incredible macro trade right now that is the move away from fiat and towards hard money and sound money. And Bitcoin is that trade for digital, for anybody who believes that digital will overtake
100%. And I still think that's inevitable. Like it's what's happening in the US right now is unprecedented, and we see people say for probably the last 12 months, this time's different, and we've seen that all over Twitter. And it's true, this time really is different to anything else that the crypto market has experienced, because it's the first time in history that it's achieving the level of adoption that it already has. And to see the US adopting Bitcoin the way it is and being open and positive on crypto regulation, and like it's only in the last week the Genius Act was passed, and like that's just wild. And how long does it take before other governments start to follow suit? And if you've got, I think I said this to you a while ago, if you've got 10, 20 different governments all trying to accumulate Bitcoin, the supply shock is going to hit really, really fast. And the only thing that can happen from that is that the value of Bitcoin continues to rise. And at the end of the day, 90% of Bitcoin is already owned by people, and 90% of the world's investable capital doesn't have any Bitcoin yet. So you weigh those two up together, and maybe Michael Saylor's prediction of $14 million a coin is actually a little realistic. By, what did he say, 2045?
Oh, I think that was the base case, right? The bull case was $49 million a coin.
Really?
Which is
nice.
ridiculous. But man,
stack sats, guys.
That would be an incredible outcome. But yeah, I mean, in the short term, I think the comparison between Bitcoin and gold in that macro trade is a really obvious one to make, or the parallel between Bitcoin and gold, and the way Bitcoin is monetizing, how fast it's monetizing. It really does feel like that gold market cap is the next thing in the.
Oh yeah.
At the end of this tunnel. I don't know if that's the right analogy. It's the next big hurdle for Bitcoin. There's little hurdles on the way, right? We're the 5th biggest asset in the world right now for Bitcoin. We've got gold as number 1, and there's what is Amazon and Nvidia and maybe Meta in between us and gold. But yeah, wow. I mean, $22 million gold market cap at the moment would be a 10x again on Bitcoin from where it is here. But I think even beyond that, the gold market cap, I think we can expect to continue climbing. Like, that's not a trade that feels like it's turning around anytime soon. And so I think that target of the gold market cap is going to keep moving away from us. But I do think as well, we'll keep accelerating towards it. Yeah, but I do agree with what you've said on altcoins as well. I think there's a lot of people who might have been underwater, or who might have held a lot of those positions for a significant period of time, either since 2021 or even having bought in 2022, 2023, who might be realizing gains. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see a fair bit of sell pressure or downward pressure on a lot of those assets as they tick up to those key levels where we saw a lot of buying in kind of previous mini cycles. Yeah, I 100% agree with you that there's potentially a lot of exits Definitely. To be done on the alt side of things, and that might keep it a little bit more depressed. Having said that, hey, we might get rate cuts in the US, and then it could be on like Donkey Kong, right? That's what makes markets fun.
Exactly, man. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always some money to be made in the altcoin market. I'm not a total Bitcoin maxi, but I think you're still going to see a lot of that capital roll out into Bitcoin anyway, because the guys that have been holding those altcoins for the last 2, 3, 4 years that are finally realizing some gains, I think they've also learned something along the way, and that's that they should have just invested in Bitcoin from the beginning and then just left it there. So I'd say a lot of that capital is going to rotate out into that anyway.
Could be the case. Let's stick around and find out. I know I will be watching very closely. Any closing thoughts, mate, before I let you get back to your week? Anything that, people should be thinking about at the moment in regards to the event or the market in general?
I think if you are in the space already and you've been holding these altcoins for a long time, like we said, I'd say that there's a good chance that you've kind of dipped out and just sort of ignored crypto for a while. And now that things are really starting to heat up again, now could be the opportunity to start looking at your portfolios and learning what's changed in the market in the last 4 years. Crypto moves really fast, and the narratives, the trends, the technologies, even it all changes by the month, let alone the year. So now's a good opportunity, I suppose, to come down to the event, talk to some of the companies like Binance that are presenting and exhibiting at the event, and sort of relearn what you didn't learn already, if that makes sense, and try to get sort of up to date with what's happening in the market, because there's still ample opportunity out there, and there could be a chance for you to sort of, as I said, rotate some of those funds from back in the 2018, 2019 bear markets and things like that, and turn that into something positive. So that'd be a closing piece of advice from me, mate.
Bullish on the industry, bullish on the Australian CryptoCon, bullish on BNB at all-time highs, and bullish on Binance. Another good froth session with you, mate. Thanks so much for joining the show.
Anytime, mate. Happy to be here.
Stay tuned, Binanceans. Please, as always, give us feedback. Let us know who you would love to have on the show in future weeks and what topics you'd like us to cover. And definitely check out the announcement, get yourself some tickets and come and see us at the event. Can't wait to meet you all there. Have a great weekend, guys. Signing out again. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Please note that this discussion includes insights from non-affiliated third parties and key opinion leaders. Binance provides this platform for informational and educational purposes only and is not responsible for any content or insights provided. This information should not be considered as financial, tax, or investment advice from Binance.